Namaste friends. In this video I will cover a few miscellaneous topics quickly. I will cover the Munugode by-election of November 2022 and the Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh state elections of December 2022, and in general talk about the fortunes of Sri Narendra Modi ji and Sri Amit Shah ji for the next couple of years, and also talk about the political fortunes of Sri KCR, the Chief Minister of Telangana state, and talk about Pawan Kalyan and BJP relationship, and talk about American football player Tom Brady, his season, and also Rishi Sunak, who became the Prime Minister of UK recently. Give my assessment of how his premiership may go, and look at US politician, Hindu politician of US, Tulsi Gabbard, her chart. And finally, I will also try to cover the protests in Iran. First, Munugode by-election. Even though this is just a by-election for one assembly seat, it has become really prestigious over the last couple of months with both BJP, Congress, as well as KCR taking it very prestigiously. So the thing is, I don't have the charts of candidates of all the three parties who are running, so I can't use them. So what I will do is, I looked at the daily charts of Sri KCR, of BJP party and Congress I party, and assessed from it, because given how prestigious it is, winning or losing this election will reflect in the daily charts of those parties or person of that leader. So looking at the counting starts on November 6th and the results have to be announced by November 8th. So looking at the daily charts of November 6, 7 and 8 of Sri KCR as well as the two parties, I am pretty confident that Sri KCR's party will win. TRS, Telangana Rashtra Samiti, will win. So TRS will win, but BJP also shows some positive signs in the daily chart. So BJP will have some gains, something to celebrate. Most likely BJP will be the number 2 party, and Congress chart looks bad. So my conclusion is TRS will have a pretty good win, pretty comfortable win, but BJP will make big inroads, big gains, whereas Congress party will suffer. Now, Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh state elections of December 2022. In the case of UP state elections earlier this year, I had the charts of both Sri Akhilesh Singh Yadav ji and Sri Yogi Adityanath ji, so I was able to confidently predict that Akhilesh ji will make gains compared to last elections, but Yogi ji will have a very comfortable and convincing victory. Similarly, I was convinced by the chart of Mamata Banerjee ji in last year's elections, Bengal elections, so I could make a confident prediction. Here, I don't have the charts of chief minister candidates of the two states of any party, so I can't really make very confident predictions, but I did the same thing I did in Munugode state election. Given that these are really important elections, big states and getting close to the national elections, they will reflect in the daily charts of BJP party, Congress party and some of the big leaders. So I looked at these 5 daily charts of BJP, Congress, Sri Modi ji, Sri Shah ji, as well as Arvind Kejriwal ji, because Aam Aadmi party is trying to get into these states and make progress. So I looked at these charts, and my conclusion is that the results will be declared on December 8. So December 8 and December 9 look really good for BJP leaders as well as for the BJP party. So my conclusion is that BJP will have a comfortable victory in both the states, both Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh, because it's not mixed. If it is mixed, maybe one state victory and one state loss, I could have said, because it's very positive. I expect that BJP party will win both the states, and Sri Arvind Kejriwal's daily chart is also showing some positive things, not as positive as the charts of BJP and the BJP leaders. So I expect that Aam Aadmi party, even though it did not contest in those states in the past, it will actually get a good percentage of votes. It will become a player going forward. It will establish itself as a player going forward at the cost of Congress party. Opposition votes will be split between Congress and AAP. So I think Arvind Kejriwal ji will have something to celebrate, but nothing really major, and BJP will keep power in both states. So that's my expectation for these two states. Now, in general, looking at the charts of Sri Narendra Modi ji and Sri Amit Shah ji, September 2020 to September 2021 was a very bad year for them, and the year after that, 2021 to 2022, was a very good year for them. And I think I said in one of the videos, maybe the Panchang Saranam video, that they will basically assert themselves, and some of the rivals and enemies who were jumping up and down, their tails will be cut, something like that I said in a video. And things like that have been happening. Some of the opponents have been really weakened in this period, so this is a very good year for them. And I just want to give a heads up to their fans and supporters that the period from September 2022 till September 2023 is not as good as the previous year. It is mixed to good. It is not bad. It is a mix. There will be some mixed results and some good results. So as far as the Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh elections, I think they are positive. But going forward, I believe there are more elections next year. So there may be some setbacks in some elections and some other setbacks also. So be prepared for that. Don't be upset if you see some negative things happening. But overall, it will be positive overall. But the thing is, the what really matters is September 2023 till September 2024. That is a very good year again, just like this year. So even if there are some setbacks in the next 12 months, don't worry. BJP fans should not worry about it. Once the general elections of 2024 come, BJP will have very comfortable victory. They will be very successful then. So nothing to worry. But during the coming year, there may be some setbacks. So be prepared, mentally prepared for that. And let's go back to Sri KCR, Kalvakontla Chandrasekhar Rao Garu. He is the Chief Minister of Telangana state. He agitated for splitting the Andhra Pradesh states into two states, even though the same language is spoken in both the states. It's not a language-based partition. So Telangana state was formed due to his agitation, and he was the first Chief Minister of Telangana state, and he was re-elected in 2019. So as I said, Munugode by-election, he should win, his party should win. But going forward, in 2023, I think November or December, there will be state elections in Telangana, and I don't expect that BJP will be able to topple him. His chart is really strong for some more time. So the election after that, 2028, he may not remain in power. That may be more tricky. He may either lose power or hang on to power with support from other parties. It will be very difficult for him after 2026 or 2027. But as far as 2023 is concerned, there is no doubt in my mind that he will have any trouble retaining power. So TRS, his party TRS, will win the 2023 Telangana elections. And one more thing is, he seems to be interested in becoming Prime Minister in 2024. So along the lines of his TRS party, he launched a party called BRS, and he is trying to form an alliance with various local leaders of South India, Mamata Banerjee, etc. So he is trying to form a big alliance and trying to become PM, the third alternative apart from Congress and BJP, in 2024. And I don't expect that he will be successful in that. He will remain. There's no promotion for him. He will retain the power that he already has and keep it for a few more years. So that's basically all I can say about him. By the way, one thing is, I will show it later when I show the astrology, the astrological analysis. He talks like a ruffian. He talks like a street gunda or something. Some people may take objection to his language, but if you look at his chart, he's a very intelligent, very smart person, very logical person. He knows what he wants. He knows how to get it. He has clear thinking. So he'll be a very formidable opponent, even though he's old and his age, his health is not perfect. He'll be a very formidable opponent for his rivals, but he's a very intelligent person, very well-read and intelligent person based on the chart. Okay, so Pawan Kalyan, I actually made a video, I think a couple of months back, perhaps, or a month back, month and a half back. I made a video on Telugu film star turned politician Sri Pawan Kalyan garu. I made a video actually in English as well as in Telugu. I said that he's here to stay. Not like his brother who started a party and then folded. His party will be there for a while, and he'll be in Telugu politics, AP politics for at least another decade. And also I predicted that in the 2024 elections he will improve his position. Actually, last time he did not win a single seat. This time he will actually become a force to reckon with. He will win lot of seats and become a player, big player, but no power in 2024. Sri Jagan Mohan Reddy garu will hang on to power. But I said that Pawan Kalyan garu will be part of a winning coalition in the next election, 2028-29 election. So his party was kind of dormant when I made that video, but after that video he suddenly came in the news. There was some agitation in Visakhapatnam that became really, there was a lot of sensational news coming around him. So he became more active in politics. But the thing is, there seems to be some gap between him and BJP. There was an alliance between his Janasena party and BJP in the last elections, 2019 elections, but there seems to be a gap because he is inching closer to the Telugu Desam party, and there is some gap between Telugu Desam party and BJP. So there is some tension between them. But in my assessment, Jagan Mohan Reddy cannot be toppled in 2024, or even if the elections are preponed to 2023, he can't be toppled. Jagan Mohan Reddy garu will win the next election, but there is an upcoming political vacuum in Andhra Pradesh. Jagan Mohan Reddy garu has a good time now, but in 2026 or so, that time will end. So around 2026, 2025, 2026 time frame, his troubles will start, and in 2027, perhaps 2026, 2027, there'll be a big fall for him. So after that, there'll be a political vacuum. So whoever establishes themselves as the alternative to Jagan Mohan Reddy garu will win in 2028. So Pawan Kalyan is doing a good job by opposing Sri Jagan Mohan Reddy, but BJP, because of some Rajya Sabha calculus, they allied with him. They took his help for Rajya Sabha, but I think siding with him will be suicidal it's a political suicide for BJP. They really need to take strong stand against Jagan Mohan Reddy. Even if they lose the next election, that's fine, and use the next election to finish off any other players like Congress, Chandrababu Naidu garu's Telugu Desam party. And then I think Pawan Kalyan makes a good long-term partner for them. So the Pawan Kalyan garu's chart and Sri Yogi Adityanath's charts are very compatible. So I think they will do a lot of good things together in the future. So it will be a good idea to stay with Pawan Kalyan, keep that alliance together, and use this election not to topple Jagan Mohan Reddy garu, but to finish off other opposition and establish as the number 2 party, so that when the political vacuum comes, BJP and Pawan Kalyan can just take over. So that is what they should really do. But whether they do that or not, I can't say anything about BJP at this point of time, but Pawan Kalyan garu will be part of a winning coalition in 2028, 2029. And Jagan Mohan Reddy will be finished by then. He will not be the chief minister in the 2028-2029 election. US football player Tom Brady, who's 45 years of age, he had a historic career. In the 22 years he was in the league, in the NFL, he was in 10 championship games and he won 7 of those. So he won more championships than any team in the history or any player. So he's a legendary quarterback, and I predicted last year that he will retire after the previous season. So indeed at 44 he retired, but after 40 days of retirement he unretired. He came back, and once he unretired, I took a fresh look at his chart because that Gundam, the danger, the show's death to the career is gone. You basically it can last some more time. So when I looked at it, I said that he will have a good season and he will have a deep playoff run and possibly win Super Bowl, one more Super Bowl. But the thing is, his team is really struggling at 3-5 mid-season. After half the season is over, they are 3-5, 3 wins and 5 losses, and they are being written off by the pundits. But the thing is, this is not completely unexpected. Even though I said he will have a good season, looking at the dasas within this year, a terrible period in his career is running from September 15 till November 2nd, and this is a period of setbacks and some kind of death-like squeeze in career. So it's not really surprising, but there is a solid time running from November 2nd onwards till the Super Bowl, till the final championship game. So there are a couple of dasas, really good dasas running. So I expect that his luck will change now, and the ship will change its course, and things will start to be corrected over November, and in December they will really reach their peak, and they will have a nice role. And come January, the playoffs, January they will do pretty well, and he may even win the Super Bowl, but at least have a deep playoff run. So he's not done. Now Rishi Sunak, the who became of Indian origin, who became the Prime Minister of UK recently. Couple of things. First of all, I don't have his chart. If anybody knows his reliable birth data, please share that with me, pass it on to me. I'll be happy to take a look at it and make another video on his chart. But in this video, what I will do is, even though his birth data is not available, we know where his moon sign is, where the so in other words, I can't use my micro astrological principles, but I can use macro astrological principles based on the moon sign, etc. Moon sign, and we most likely know his nakshatra also, but at least his moon sign is known. So based on that, I can make some overall expectations, and more importantly, we know the time when he became the UK Prime Minister, when he met the King, and King made it official that he was the Prime Minister. So that time, that muhurta is very important. So based on that also I can make some assessments. So interesting thing is, he became UK Prime Minister in the middle of an eclipse. So some astrologers were concerned about it. They said that, and also given that the Conservative Party is really struggling over the last few years, and the economy in general is struggling, the whole world economy as well as UK economy took big beating in the last few months. And the Labour Party is polling really well in the opinion polls right now in UK. So and given that a lot of people thought that this eclipse muhurta suggests that he'll have a very short run, and also in the muhurta chart, the 8th house and 12th house are really strong, house of losses and house of ups and downs and setbacks. But the thing is, there is Guru's aspect on the Lagna, and the Lagna is a Sthira Lagna. So there are negatives, but there are also some positives, and balancing both of them, and also looking at the dasas for the next 2 years, 3 months, which is the term of his prime ministership, my assessment is that even though practically it is unlikely that he will retain power for a long time, there is actually a good chance based on the muhurta. The muhurta is not bad at all, even though superficially looking at it, it may seem like a bad muhurta, and especially given that it was in the eclipse, it's not a bad muhurta at all. There are blessings of Guru, who's the fifth lord in the fifth house. So there is some Purva Punya protecting him. So I will not be surprised if against all odds he will establish himself, and he will steer UK out of these financial troubles, and he will lead UK into the next elections as the Conservative Party leader. In other words, Conservative Party changed 3 leaders in the last few months, but there is a chance that he will remain the Conservative Party leader till 2025 elections, early 2025 elections. So that's not impossible at all. And also his own chart, his moon sign is Aries, and looking at Aries, right now Saturn is in the 10th house, but in January he's going to move to the 11th house. So that's Lavasani, that is very beneficial. So it is possible. Again, if I know his chart, I can say things more confidently, but I'm just using macro principles here, not micro principles. So based on general Gochar, the next couple of years are pretty positive. So it is possible that he will do a good job steering the UK economy, and UK economy will recover from the mess of last few months. And even though world economy may struggle, UK may be on par, not worse than the world economy, and people may see that and may appreciate the work he did. So he may establish himself as somebody to reckon with. So that is my overall assessment. And one small word here. There is a chart out there on the internet. I think 12:24 p.m. or sometime after the right afternoon is taken. The thing is, it doesn't seem to explain his known past very well. So I don't want to just take some chart that's out there, not coming from a reliable source, and assume that and make predictions, because that's what I did with Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro. I just took the chart somebody gave me without verifying that it was explaining all the known past well, and the prediction that I made based on it came wrong recently. So I want to be careful. So if anybody has his chart from reliable sources, either him or somebody close to him, please pass it on to me. Then I can make another video on him. But just looking at these macro factors, my assessment is that it's not too bad. I think the next 2 months, I will show it when I do the analysis based on the Muhurta chart and the Dasas. And next few months, next couple of months, he will be very aggressive, bold, and during this honeymoon period, he will take some aggressive steps, and as a result of it, he will establish himself. So that is what I expect, and let us see, let's keep our fingers crossed and see how it holds. And again, if accurate chart is known from reliable sources, please pass it on to me. I'll be very happy to look at it. And now, US political leader Tulsi Gabbard, she was the first Hindu first Hindu to be elected to US Congress in 2012, along with Obama's presidency. She was the darling of the Democratic Party in 2012. She was actually nominated, she was actually appointed as the vice chair of the Democratic National Committee. But in 2016, she fell off with the establishment. She was part of the establishment with being very eloquent, somebody who can speak fluently and logically, coherently, without teleprompters like other leaders. She was seen as a future leader. So that's why she was made the vice chairman. But she saw the pro-Hillary Clinton forces that were doing things against Bernie Sanders in the Democratic primaries in 2016. So resigned as the vice chair of the Democratic National Committee and openly endorsed Bernie Sanders, and she was anti-Hillary Clinton. So that really destroyed her career, being against Hillary Clinton. And in 2020, she ran for presidency, but she did not really do well. And another thing is, one central piece of her campaign is she's anti-military interventions in the rest of the world. She's basically pro-peace, even though she worked in U.S. military and she actually fought in the Iraq War. She was deployed in Iraq. Her main agenda is peace. So unfortunately, the U.S. military-industrial complex doesn't like candidates like that, and she's very vehement in fighting what U.S. military-industrial complex does. So she was, her career was kind of destroyed in 2020, and recently she left the Democratic Party. She said that she hasn't joined the Republican Party and she's an independent, but who knows how future will be. And she sent lot of signs in the last couple of years that she was going to do this. So again, I only know that she was born in the morning of that particular day. So the place and the date are known, but the time is not known. And I have converged to a time that I'm pretty confident of, but I'm not 100% confident. So I'll make precise predictions based on the chart later. But just looking at her moon sign again, just like I did for Sri Rishi Sunak, uh, just looking at her moon sign is a Cancer. She has Cancer rising, Cancer moon sign with Rahu in it. Uh, she will be right now. Guru is in the ninth house. There is blessings of Guru, but the thing is, so that is why she will get some limelight because of this change, etc. But next year, Guru will go to the 10th house. So 10th house Guru Rahu combination is not good. Guru Rahu transiting in the 10th house is not good for career. And moreover, in January, Saturn is going to move to Aquarius, 8th house. So Ashtam Sani is not good. So it is possible that in spite of the short-term euphoria and the limelight she may get out of this change, next year may be a bad year for her. So she may actually suffer as a result of this change, and she may get in some trouble next year. And I don't anticipate her getting any power in 2024. Some people were speculating that she will run as the Republican candidate in 2024 and become president, but I don't really see that in her fortune in 2024. One thing is, she doesn't really fit in either party. She's a libertarian, basically the extreme right of Republican Party. She's a libertarian who doesn't want to intervene in other countries and who's pro peace, etc. And who wants individuals to have full liberty. So she's a libertarian on the right side, and on the left side, she's a very progressive person. As a matter of fact, she supported universal Medicare, which is basically a government medical insurance for everybody, government healthcare for everybody, extending the Medicare, which is basically a government healthcare for older people, to all Americans. So she supported that in the last elections 2020, and thus considered a very left-wing position. And even more left-wing position is, she was the only, she and Andrew Yang were the only two candidates who supported a policy called UBI, Universal Basic Income. So what it means is, if somebody loses job, government will give a check every month. A minimum income is guaranteed for all citizens. So she supported UBI, which is a really socialist policy. It is a extreme left-wing policy. So she's a progressive and socialist kind of agenda in terms of her policies, and she's also a libertarian. So she's an interesting mix of these progressive and libertarian policies. So she doesn't fit properly either in Democratic Party and or Republican Party. And Republican media may be liking her right now because she's a Democrat who left the party and who's criticizing Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. But I don't think things will be smooth for her. If she runs for an office as a Republican, all her previous positions will be held against her. So that is the common sense point of view. But astrologically also, things look bad for her. But one thing is, if she remains independent and runs as an independent, she may not win, but you never know. The next decade is really critical for the world. Lot of stuff that we never expected will happen in the next decade. So we have seen some of it already, but a lot more is yet to come in the next decade. So in this critical decade, you never know. US may actually vote for an independent in a presidential election. So there is hope for her, but I don't see it in 2024. Finally, a word on Iran protests. That period from mid 2022 till mid 2025 is not good for Iran at all. This is a very destabilizing period, and this has potential. Again, I will show why astrologically in the astrological analysis based on Shani Guru conjunction chart, which shows 20-year fortune. So there is a potential for both internal strife as well as external aggression. Other countries being against Iran and engaging in some aggression against Iran. Particularly 2023-2024 has a chance of external aggression. So we are already seeing something in Ukraine, and something may develop in the Middle East, especially with Iran as the epicenter in the next couple of years. So there is a lot of mess ahead for Iran. And as I said in the annual video, I said that Iran nuclear deal the nuclear treaty will not come through, even though Biden became the president, and it was under his vice presidency that Iran had a nuclear deal with the rest of the world. I said that it will not come again, and I believe US has walked away from it. So I don't think there is any chance of these peace treaties with other countries. I think Iran is in a phase of internal struggles as well as external aggression. So it's a bad period for Iran. And one more thing I said in a previous video is that Iran, North Korea, China and Russia alliance will form over this decade, and this will be the alliance in the next major war of 2030-2031. So we are seeing some reports that Iran is aligning with Russia and providing some arms to Russia, some drones, etc. So we'll see how that pans out. But I believe Iran will get closer to Russia, China, etc. over the next few years. Now I will go through the astrological analysis behind some of these conclusions. First, let us look at the Munugode election. This is the chart of Sri KCR, and let us see the daily chart. Daily chart of November 6. Let's say sometime in the evening. Counting starts that day. Let us look at the Dasyamsha chart. That is the one that is interesting. So you can see that in the Dasyamsha chart, Lagna Lord and the 5th Lord are together and aspecting Lagna. And the 9th Lord and 10th Lord are together in the 5th house of power, which is a pretty good combination for feeling powerful and getting power. And if you look at the next day, because things will be clearer on that day, you can see that Lagna Lord, both the Lagna Lords are in the 9th house and Saturn is exalted, and the 10th Lord Mars is in the 5th house of power with Yogakarka Venus. So there is a nice Dharma Karma with Yoga, 9th Lord and 10th Lord in the 5th house. So this is a pretty good chart. And if you look at the chart of BJP party, this is a chart of BJP party, and if you look at the daily chart of same November 6th, you will see that the Lagna Lord and the 5th Lord are together but in the 8th house, and the 9th Lord Moon is in the 5th house. So there are some good combinations. So there is some unexpected success and happiness. But let us look at the next day. If you look at the next day, you will see that 5th Lord Moon is debilitated, though in the 9th house he is debilitated, and the Lagna Lord and the 9th Lord are together. But if you look at the longitudes, Mars is at 22 Gemini, Jupiter at 27 Gemini, and Venus at the 9 Gemini. So Mars and Jupiter are pretty close, but they are reflected by Venus. So that is why in the Bhavachakra you see only Venus and Mars together in the 4th house. But the thing is, Mars and Jupiter are pretty close. So there is a good Rajoga, but it is blemished by the 8th Lord Venus, and 5th Lord is, like I said, debilitated. And if you go one more day, if you look at the November 8th, now you see that the 5th Lord is in 6th house. So that is basically Markasthana for 5th house. And the Lagna Lord and 9th Lord together, they are reflected by Venus. And this time Venus is very close. If you look at the longitudes, Venus is very close to Jupiter. He is actually closer to Jupiter than Mars is. So 5th Lord is, 8th Lord is afflicting the Lagna Lord. So it seems they may do well initially, but basically on the second day it may become clear that KCR's party has won, something like that. So BJP has some gains to make, but I expect that KCR's party will win. And while we are at it, we can go back to the chart of Sri KCR and look at it from a long-term perspective. So if you see the Dasyamsha chart, by the way, I said that he's a very intelligent person. Let me show how. If you look at T24, the Lagna Lord is in the 5th house of scholarship with the 5th Lord Jupiter. So that's a really good combination. And there is also a Dharmakarma Adhipati Yoga between Venus and Mars. So he's a pretty learned person, even though for political success, he basically leaves his learning. He comes across as a different person. He's a very learned person, scholarly person. So anyway, let's look at Dasyamsha. In the Dasyamsha, Taradasha from Venus will apply. If you look at Dasamsa, Taradasha from Mercury, sorry, not Venus, because Mercury is the strongest planet in a Kendra. So looking at the Taradasha, you will see that from 2011 till 2028, he is running the Mercury period. So this is a really powerful period for him. As a matter of fact, this is the period he came to power in. And let us look at the Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh elections. So looking at BJP's daily chart, the results are expected to be, the counting on the results will be on December 8th. So let us say evening 9 o'clock, by then results should be clear. So if we, this is for the BJP party. If you look at their chart, you see that the 5th house contains Ketu, but the thing is, the Lagna Lord Jupiter is aspecting Lagna, and the 5th Lord of power Mars is in an Admitra Rasi in a Kendra, 5th Lord in a Kendra, and he's with he's with the 10th Lord Mercury, so 9th Lord Sun is aspecting him. So 9th Lord Sun, 9th Lord Sun, 10th Lord Mercury and 5th Lord Mars are on the 10th house axis. That is a very powerful combination, apart from Jupiter being in the Lagna Lord aspecting Lagna. So this is a pretty powerful chart. But let us look at the next day. Let's say after instead of before. So this starts at like in the afternoon of December 8th. So one more day later, if we see, we can see that Lagna Lord is in the 9th house and the 9th Lord Mercury. There is a samsaptaka between Lagna Lord and 9th Lord. So it's not showing any sudden disappointment. So I think this is a pretty good chart. And if you look at the Congress Party's chart, if you look at Congress Party's chart, this is the daily chart. You can see that the 10th Lord Venus is in Mankaraka Sthana, and the Lagna Lord Sun is afflicted by Saturn, the 6th and 7th Lord. So there are, the blessing is the 5th Lord is he aspecting. Let us look at the aspect table. So on the 5th house, Jupiter's aspect is only 13%. So yeah, that is why in the Bhava Chakra he is actually in the 12th house. So 5th Lord Jupiter is in the 12th house of loss. He is not actually in the 11th house aspecting 5th house. Only 13% aspect. So 5th is not really strong. So there are some negative combinations here. And if we look at the next day, you will see that there is a Chandrasena Yoga in the Lagna, and the 8th Lord Mars is in the 7th house afflicting the Lagna Lord. So 8th Lord affliction to Lagna Lord. So all this is basically showing that and Chandrasena Yoga in Lagna shows sadness, depression, and the 9th Lord of fortune, Venus is in Manakaraka Sthana, so no fortune. So this is a very disappointing day for them. So on the first day there may be some optimism, but by the second day it may turn pretty negative for Congress Party. And if you look at Sri Arvind Kejriwal, the Aam Aadmi Party leader, let us look at his daily charts. You can see that Lagna Lord Mars is in the 5th house of power, but the 5th Lord Jupiter is in the 8th house. So that's not good, but this is good. And 10th Lord Sun is afflicted by Saturn. So there are some negatives, but still Lagna Lord in the 5th house is not a bad thing at all. The two in Adhimitra Rasi. So this is a pretty positive thing, but not as positive as we saw in the case of BJP chart. If we say after the next day, so this day was night of December 7. So this day starts night of December 8. So it will be basically December 9. So in this chart you can see that, let's see, the Lagna Lord is in the 4th house. The 5th Lord Moon is aspecting the 5th house. So that is good, but he is afflicted by 8th Lord. And the 9th Lord and 7th Lord and 4th Lord are together in Lagna. So there are some positives. So it's not as positive as BJP. So but better than what we saw in the case of Congress daily chart. So my assessment was that Uh, Arvind Kejriwal ji's Aam Aadmi Party will make some progress. They will snatch some seats from Congress, some vote share and seats from Congress. But the result of this election is going forward in the next elections, in the general elections as well as future elections, Aam Aadmi Party will become a force to reckon with. They will, if anybody gets, let's say, 10% vote share or something, there will be a force to reckon with in future alliances. So this will be, he'll be happy on that count, but BJP will hang on to power. And because I already took a lot of power, I'll skip the charts of Sri Narendra Modi and Amit Shah ji, but their daily charts also show good days on December 8th, December 9th, and so on. And Sri Pawan Kalyan's chart I will skip because I did it in a previous video. And Sri Jagan Mohan Reddy's chart, I promised the person who shared the data, the reliable data, that I will not reveal it, so I will keep it secret. Let us look at the chart of Tom Brady. So if we see the annual chart, Tajka chart of 2022, you can see that you can see that there is a samsaptuka between Saturn and Venus, and in terms of longitudes it is within 3 degrees. So Venus is at 1 degree Pisces, Saturn is at 3 degree Virgo, so it is a very close Raj Yoga. So Lagna Lord Saturn and Yokarka Venus are in Samasaptaka. So that's a very nice Raj Yoga, but it happens on the 8th house axis. So after some setbacks or in unexpected ways, but it's a positive yoga. And by the way, it shows Mercury also there, but he is away from them. So he is not really, if you look at longitudes, he is at the end of Virgo, whereas Saturn is at the beginning of Virgo. So there's no yoga between Lagna Lord and 9th Lord, but there is a yoga between Lagna Lord Saturn and Yokarka Venus. So that is there. And if you look at the dasas, the plain Vimshottari dasa applies in this chart. And if you look at the Vimshottari dasa, Jupiter dasa runs from September 15 to November 2. And Jupiter is in retrogression, he is in Manakaraka Sthana in the 3rd house. And in general, benefics in the 3rd is not good for sporting success. Malefics are good in any competition in general, not just sporting. Competitive success is not given by benefics in the 3rd and also in Manakaraka Sthana. So that is why this period showed a death-like squeeze in career. And if you look at the next period from November 2nd, basically a few days back, Saturn Dasa started, and he's the one giving, he's the Lagna Lord in the 8th house giving this Raj Yoga with the 5th Lord of fame and 10th Lord of career. So this should set things right, this period. And during the playoffs, Mercury Dasa will run, and Mercury is the 9th Lord in the 9th house. 9th Lord exalted in the 9th house, which shows excellent protection. So this is the period when luck will be with him. So, and the Super Bowl is on February 12th. So the Super Bowl is during the Mercury period. So this is a very favorable period for him. So I think in the last couple of months he was going through divorce. It was finalized just before this Dasha ended. So there was an amicable divorce, but settling all the terms, etc., probably distracted him. But now he will focus on football and he will deliver. So I think this is a good period for him going forward. And then let us look at, like I said, in the case of Rishi Sunak's chart, I don't have the chart. This is the chart that some people are taking. It explains some things, but it doesn't explain everything. So I'm not sure if this is the right chart. But the thing is, irrespective of the exact time, Moon will be in Aries, either Ashwini or Bharani. He seems like a Bharani person, but you never know. He may be Ashwini also. But Moon sign is Aries, so that is why I said Saturn will be moving to Aquarius soon in January. So that should be a good 2.5 year of transit. So Saturn will be positive for him. So that is what I was saying earlier in the predictions part. But let us look at the Muhurta chart, the becoming the Prime Minister. So there's no official vote taking in UK for Prime Minister from what I understand. So when the King appointed him as the Prime Minister, when he went to the King and met him, he officially made him the prime minister. So that was the time when he officially became the prime minister. Even though he was elected as the leader of the Conservative Party, until the king appointed him officially, it wasn't official. So that is when he became official. So as I said, some people are worried about these 4 planets in the 12th house of loss and setbacks and worries, etc. And Lagna Lord Mars in the 8th house. Again, that's not positive. But Lagna Lord, wherever he is, it shows how you apply your intelligence. So basically, overcoming various troubles is how the intelligence is applied, and in a very dynamic way, because Mars is a dynamic planet. But things I really like. 4 things actually. 11th Lord of Gains in the 11th house exalted. Saturn in 3rd and Rahu in 6th, which shows destroying enemies and being very positive and aggressive. And 5th Lord Jupiter in 5th house aspecting Lagna. So that is basically Poropunya coming to your aid. So those are really positive features, these 3 planets and this planet. So let us look at the dashas. If you see this chart, Surya Hora, I think Shodashotri dasha is the best dasha. Surya Hora, and from Sun, oh actually no, Moon is back. So Vimshotri only, Vimshotri. Are there any strong planets in Kendras? I don't believe so. Nope. Yeah, actually Lagna Lord is in 7th, but Rahu is not strong. So Sapta Samadasya doesn't apply. So let's just use the Vimshotri. When we are not confident, no other dasha is clearly dominating, just use plain Vimshotri. So in the Vimshotri dasha, we have to compress the dashas. So the next elections have to be held, I think, by the end of 2025 January. So roughly 2.3, 2 years and 3 months roughly. So let's say 2.33 years and enter the sphering in chart mode. So dashas will be compressed to this period. So if you do that, you will see that what are the dashas? So when he became at the time of this chart starting, Rahu dasha was running, and it runs till February 7, and Rahu is in the 6th house. So being a malefic in the 6th, he will be bold, he will use his honeymoon period very well, take some aggressive and bold steps. So this is a good dasha, but this is a stabilizing dasha from February 7 to June 1, because normally you will expect after a few months somebody else will want to replace him as the prime minister, so some politics can start, but that is when Guru dasha starts, and he is the 5th lord in the 5th aspecting Lagna. So this is unlikely to break the prime ministership. This is likely to keep him, as a matter of fact, consolidate his grip over the Conservative Party. So this is a positive dasha for him. And then Saturn dasha will come from June to October. So Saturn is 3rd lord in the 3rd house. Again, very bold and very strong steps during this period. And Mercury is the 11th lord in the 11th house of gains. So this period will bring some gains to the country. Some financial problems may be resolved, and this is a positive period. So all these periods look good. There may be some setbacks in 2024, but in general, there are enough blessings in the chart, and for the first year or so, the dashas look good. So I think it seems to me like he will survive, and I will not be surprised if he survives till the next election. But if I have his data, confident data, I can make more confident predictions. And finally, for Tulsi Gabbard, yeah, I don't want to share the speculative chart that I'm using. I'm reasonably confident about it, but I'm not fully confident about it. But it does have Moon and Rahu in Cancer, and I explained the rationale earlier. So not much to see. And let us finally look at Iran. Tehran, Iran. Let us look at the let's take a long-term view. So let's look at the previous Jupiter-Saturn conjunction chart, which was in December 2020. So if you look at, let us look at Shashtyamsa. Shashtyamsa is the chart that shows the how the karmic forces unravel during a particular period, positively or negatively. So this is we can look at Rasi chart, Navamsa chart and the other charts also, but I will look at actually these 20-year charts, Saturn Jupiter conjunction charts for various countries, India, US, China, UK, Iran, Russia, etc. in a detailed video later on, and make some long-term predictions for the whole decade and maybe a couple of decades for the whole world, for important countries of the world in a future video. But I'll just look at one thing here. Shashtyamsa, by the way, Shashtyamsa, don't use it in natal charts unless you are absolutely sure of the time, because let us see. See, 2 minutes earlier the time, Lagna will change, and 7 seconds later Lagna will change. So it's not reliable in individual charts, but for mundane charts, because we are looking at planetary conjunctions, transits, etc., we can see the time accurately. So we can rely on this chart, and even if there is a slight error in the Ainamsa, it affects both Jupiter and Saturn's longitudes the same way. So because we are looking at conjunction, it affects both of them the same way. So it doesn't change the time. So as long as the planetary model that we used is reasonably accurate, tropically, in other words, Ainamsa is not sure but tropical longitude is accurate, then this time will be accurate. So if you look at this Shashtyamsa chart, you can see that Venus, Rahu and Ketu are in the 6th house, and Venus is in Manakar, Lagna Lord is in Manakarka Sthana, and the 6th house of wars, enemies, etc. is very strong. So if you see the dasas, by the way, 10th Lord Saturn is in own house, so Chaturasita Samadasya applies, and it dominates because controlling planet Saturn is strong. So we'll use the Chaturasita Samadasya of Shashtyamsa. So if you see the Chaturasita Samadasya of Shashtyamsa, by the way, dasas will be compressed for 20 years. So Gurudasya ran during from 2020 December till 2022 July, and if you see, Guru is the 9th Lord, he is a functional malefic but debilitated. So debilitation of 8th Lord is good. It gives some optimism and some sense that obstacles will disappear. So during this time, Trump lost. Trump was really anti-Iran. He lost, and Joe Biden won. And it was under Joe Biden's vice presidency that Iran had a nuclear treaty with US and the rest of the Western world and a lot of European countries. So there was some positivity and optimism in Iran during this period. And now, starting July 2022 until May 2025, Venus Dasha is running. And Lagna Lord in Manakarka Sthana is never a good thing. It's a very negative thing. So Lagna Lord is in Manakarka Sthana and he is with Rahu Ketu. So this shows a lot of internal strife because it's Lagna Lord. So a lot of internal strife. Basically there are karmic forces that can cause internal strife during this period. And the specifics can be seen from other charts, but I will restrict to Shashtyamsa in this video. So Venus period is a really problematic period, and also he's the 6th Lord in the 6th house. So 6th Lord in the 6th with Rahu Ketu can also show fights, external wars. So Venus Rahu can show clandestine wars. So it is possible that Iran takes part in a clandestine war. So in other words, Iran may be under the hood fighting on behalf of Russia in Ukraine, and there are some reports of it, and it's not impossible. Even if it's not happening, it may happen now. Even if it wasn't happening before, it may happen now, and it may actually intensify during the next 3 years. And secondly, because it's the sixth Lord, there can be some warlike situations that Iran gets engaged in. Some external aggression is also possible against Iran during this period. So this is not really a good period for Iran. So I think I will stop here. I will make another video a few weeks later covering the 20-year chart of various countries and give some detailed readings about various countries. So on that note, I will end today's session. Thank you very much. Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Yavat Bhumandale Sanatan Dharmo Vardhatu. Visheshatah Bhartakande अमेरिकावर्षे टिबेट् राष्ट्रे च ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः